Hello, everyone. This is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor, and we are about to get into this week's episode of Ready to Love. It was interesting. So the title of this episode was "Out of Your Comfort Zone," and I really feel like that was appropriately named because it was like the episode of awkward dates for sure. So I want to jump into it, and we're gonna go in like kind of chronological order this time around. So the first date, which was really cute, was Frank and Aisha. Frank and Aisha, they both had kind of stated that they were, physically attracted to each other, but trying to see if there was something deep. Now, it seemed like they cut their date short. I don't know if there wasn't any more conversation than what we saw, but it seemed to be cut pretty short. And maybe because there were just so many dates. Maybe that's what was happening. But Frank was really intentional. Like he said, hey, like you were my first person I had a connection with, and I'm really serious. He, also reinforced that intention by remembering the ages of her children and remembering the details of that nature. I don't know. Again, I don't know his heart, if it's sincere towards her, but it definitely is. Sounds like that's what he's trying to communicate to her. And she felt that. And you saw like her walls kind of come down much more with her than Carrington last week. Last week, she was about the interview questions and getting to the nitty gritty, which you understand why, because she's been in a situation where she's been hurt before. She's divorced. So she's using wisdom. She's using discernment. And so it seems like for whatever reason, whether it's physical attraction, maybe she's more attracted to Frank than she was Carrington. Who knows? But I think also Frank being intentional about, hey, the fact that you're a mother, the fact that you're teenage children, I'm like very aware of where you are, and that is also something that attracts me to you, not just your body. So that, we'll see what goes with them. Okay. So then we go to something completely different, which is kind of a powwow meeting between Keri and Tyrone. Now, last episode, I really didn't mention the fact that, Keri felt some type of way towards Tyrone, just because Tyrone already outed himself as being awkward and, trying to push through that. So I was like, the reason probably why he didn't handle that the right way is because he's awkward. So, but in this space, I really even like the tone that he said, like, hey, this is going to be an uncomfortable conversation, but we're going to push through it and we're going to grow from this. And so I thought that was a really great tone to set for this conversation, kind of letting her down. It seems though, Keri felt mishandled and that Tyrone did not communicate to her in the time that she wanted to about him feeling Shiloh more than he felt her. And it seems like maybe, I don't know if Keri was maybe not fully prepared, like emotionally prepared, which is you have to be in this situation. You're 10 girls are meeting 10 guys, and they might feel one girl over the other or vice versa. And so you have to be prepared for that rejection. And rejection is tough. There's a lot of, I could go on and on about rejection, but rejection is, it's a familiar pain that most of us have experienced in our lives. And so if you haven't like worked through that, sometimes a lot of insecurities can come up, and it seems like maybe that's what happened here, where Keri was like, okay, I know you went on a date with Shiloh, so tell me where I stand. And he was like, give me a moment to, one, think things out, and then also find a way to tell you in the way that I want to tell you. And so that's what seems to be happening here. But he did communicate that, and also said that again, it didn't feel like it was any right time to say, I like Shiloh more than I like you. And that's rough. But they were able to come to some place of resolution. She was very, I don't want to say triggered, I don't like that word, but that the word aggressive, caught her, off guard. She kind of took offense to that. And I think it's just because aggressive is a word that you normally have a negative connotation to. And so I get it. No woman, I don't think, wants to be called aggressive, or be thirsty. Like, those are kind of words that are kind of connected to that. And so it wasn't that I just think she was just really feeling kind of insecure about, like, okay, where do I stand so I can know how to move and navigate? Do I need to connect with somebody else or connect with somebody, or stay connected to you? Because she really, really liked Tyrone. Yeah. And they showed a clip of her saying that. So then next, there's another group date with this triangle that I'm like, can we have another mixture or something? So we got another date with Courtney, Cornelius, and Kamille being the center of it. Oh, isn't that wonderful? This time it doesn't seem like Kamille was the mastermind of it. I'm wondering if production was. Like, they just like this whole energy that Kamille gives, and they want to make a thing about it. But it seems also that Corey may have had some motives there, because he said he was going to be like just keeping Courtney busy while Cornelius was talking to Kamille, but it doesn't seem like that's all Corey was doing, as he was entertaining her with doing a kappa step on the skates. Very impressive, because I would have failed. And also Corey, awkward. I want to call him Captain Awkward, but he's still trying to entertain. He's trying to entertain. And so the thing about entertaining people is that, okay, the person is on, normally when someone's being entertained, they're on a stage and you're watching. There's distance, right? There's distance. He's not trying to connect with Courtney. So Courtney was trying to connect and tell her about himself, and then he interrupts the conversation by scooting closer to her, and then checks in to see if she's comfortable. She says yes, but then she moves like back, towards the wall, which is like her body language is saying she's not comfortable. Well, I know that she is, she said that she likes touch, and he says he likes touch, apparently. And it didn't seem like he knows how to connect with people. He doesn't seem like he knows how to have intimate conversations where there's depth. It's not there. Kamille, on the other hand, she is a straight shooter. So you said you want to wait. She's talking about intimacy, physical intimacy, and they're both Christians. So you want to wait. And he says yes, and she was concerned about like if there's any worries that the sex might not be pleasurable, and he said he's not worried about that. And then she asked about his bank accounts, and but he was open with her, saying like, hey, I don't believe in debt. I save my money. I'm a good steward of my money, and I'm gonna make sure you are too. But she was, I think, because she's a Christian woman, and she believes, my assumption is she attends to those beliefs of the man being the head of the household and things of that nature. So she is going to take his lead on that. So she is in a space where I think that her eggs are all in one basket. She's like, Cornelius is mine, where Cornelius is still saying that he's still trying to get to know several of the other ladies. So we'll see how Kamille and her possessiveness handles that. Okay. So next, we have Walter and Mumen. This was kind of a surprise. I think I'm a little biased because I like Sabrina and Walter better. But, hey, I'm just watching the TV show. So there was lots of in-depth conversation. I think Mumen was like kind of missing that from her last date that she had with Court. Because they were both connecting on their like similar upbringing of not having a father present, and really talking about how they worked through that. How Walter had to accept his father's limitations, how Mumen had to make sure, like, even though, yes, I'm attracted to older guys because I don't have a father, I'm not making sure that my younger self is leading in my relationships, which that language makes me wonder, like, oh, has she been in therapy to work on this? Because it seems like she's using some language that indicates so. But they had a nice day, and then they also had some physical touch. They did at the end. He put her on his back, and they did this little scurry down the hill. So they had some moments, but they were really just trying to get the foundation of trust and vulnerability in their relationship and getting to know each other, so that they can, because that's really what intimacy is about. If there's not a trust there, then that physical intimacy is going to be like a blip. It's gonna there's things that are gonna come up later. But anyway, all right, next group date. This group date was so awkward. Okay, so Dante, Shiloh, Keri and Phil. Dante, Shiloh, Keri and Phil. They did a workout date, which was cute. Keri, she had this like competitive energy. She was going with Dante like, hey, I need to be sweating. I need to be sore. I need you, don't play with me. And he did not play with her because she was struggling through the workout. So it was like, girl, be careful what you ask for. But there was, like, he was trying to give his attention to her and through most of the workout. And I don't know, again, if that was something that was staged through production. I'm always wondering that because you never know how much these shows are staged, right? But we can just show that. And it kind of indicates that in their interaction. Okay, so after the workout, they sit down. And he's like, hey, so I'm just trying to get to know you. She's like, oh, you are? You're getting to know me? Like, you're trying? Like, and I was like, these questions are so weird. I'm like, obviously he is because he's sitting with you. Keri, come on, talk to him. But she says she really wasn't sure if he was really into her. And so then she started asking like really like hard-hitting questions, right off the bat. And I don't know if they've had any previous conversations before then, but it's like, do you want to be married? Do you want to have kids? He's like, yeah, I already have kids. And so when I hear somebody say that, it's like, maybe he's waiting to see. It depends on how things go, because it depends on how things progress, how and then his age and how, all of that to figure out if he wants to have children. But yeah, and then she just kind of didn't know what else to say. It was just a really awkward date. Seems she was like really frantic. Like, do you like me? Like, do you want to get to know me? It was just like a lot of questions like that. And so I don't know if she is feeling some type of way because of her situation with Tyrone. If that's what's making her feel kind of like, where her guard is up. But it was just a weird energy. Now, Shiloh and Phil. Shiloh is I guess it's because she's an intimacy coach, as her profession. She's just an open book, so she's like, this is what I like, this is what I like, this is what I like. I know lots about Shiloh. She's like, she said, indiscreet PDA, like just like a graze of a shoulder, things like that. She does meditation, does breathing. Like, these are things that she talked about on her date, and even things that, she talked about previously, on previous dates. Phil just seemed to be kind of one note, like just like either parroting what she said, like, oh, I want to be told I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. And it's like, I guess. So just flirty. I don't know anything about Phil. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing about Phil other than, the initial information they shared the first season, the first episode. So I don't know what Shiloh's impression of Phil is, but I know that Phil was really enjoying Shiloh, but I don't even know if Shiloh knows anything about Phil. Just that what they showed us, I don't think she does. So Zadia, that's her name. That's how you pronounce it. Zadia, like Nadia. Zadia and Naeem, they had a little cute date. I really feel like Zadia is really feeling Naeem. I mean, they look really cute together. They had a nice connection. There was a natural physical touch that was welcomed, back and forth. There was no like hint of uncomfortability. And that was nice. So this was interesting though. Zadia asked Naeem, how would your friends describe you? And he responded with, Well, my friends would say that I protect my women. And I was like, huh? Like, I was waiting for him to say, like, I'm a fun-loving guy. I'm competitive. I'm picky, because that's something that they talked about in the casting special. So, you know, something about him. But it was like, I'm protective of my women. And I was just like, okay, well, you're protective. That's nice. But I was looking for him to share more of himself. But Zadia says she was spoiled, and there was some banter about that. And his joke seemed to really land with her, so that was nice. It seems like, again, Zadia really likes Naeem, and that's looking to be her first, you know, choice or pick in this show. But Naeem did communicate directly, saying, like, I'm still, you know, wanting to make sure I get to know everybody. So that, I think that was, you know, definitely honest and commendable for him to communicate that to her. But I think that she might feel some type of way about that, just because she's like, but I like you. And so he did end it with, like, well, you said you always get what you want. So we'll see how it goes. The last date, Tisia and Frank. So another awkward date. So, Frank is a bartender, I believe, and he's making drinks for her and trying to make a connection. Tisia says that she feels like Frank has his guard up. When, girl, you do too. And so I don't know if that is why her guard was up, because she felt like his has been up with her. But she also felt like she said that she felt like she didn't know if he was really attracted to her. And so I don't know if this is, again, them just setting up dates for people to connect, or if these are dates that people are intentionally like, hey, girl, I'm going to take you out. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. Like, I wonder if they are allowed to say yes or no. I have all these questions about production. But anyway. So there was like this networking day. So he made her a drink, and it was called To See Her, because she named it. And that was so cute. But I was like, oh, he didn't get to see you. Okay, because you were just... Talk about you're an entrepreneur. You like the flexibility of it, because you get to say, I'm not working, or I am working today. But he said in his confessional that he really wanted to get to know her more. But I didn't see where he even asked that of her either. Like, where he redirected her or said, hey, you talking a lot about work, and I do want to know about what you do, but I also want to know about you. Like, what do you do when you're not working? What do you do to relax? What makes you this strong, independent woman today that I see before me? Like, you know, I don't see where he made an intent to, like, redirect her or steer the conversation to a more intimacy lane. But it didn't happen. And maybe just because both of their walls were up. And that was just that. And I don't know if her guard is up still from the first episode where she was in the bottom two, but... boo, you in the bottom two again. So the bottom two was Tisia and Keri. Keri was voted off. She accepted it graciously, and I think she felt it was coming. Tisia still feeling some type of way. Like, hey, I'm jumping through hoops. And I don't know. I don't see any footage of her jumping through hoops. So, like, you know, where she's like, because again, I don't know anything about her other than she started a tech startup. You know, and she did say she's the old school girl, so she's out of her you know, out of her comfort zone, and, you know, in this dating setting. But other than that, I don't know much about her. So we'll see how it goes as episodes as episodes keep going, and they have 2 special guests coming next week. So we'll see how that mixes everything up. But thanks again for watching. See you guys next week. Peace.